What schools won't tell you. Lesson 4. Hi guys, I'm sure you remember our Lesson 2, in which we exposed the real reason for climate change: global overpopulation. Today we want to find out what happens when no action is taken and the insane growth of overpopulation keeps running its course. This time, however, our focus is not on our planet's climate, but possible changes that could be imminent in our society. And these prospects are anything but encouraging. The Swiss man, Billy Edward Albert Meyer, who has maintained friendly contacts with extraterrestrial humans from the Plejaren system throughout his life, has made an effort to examine possible future events. Unfortunately, he has seen terrifying events that may come to pass unless we alter our behaviour. In our last lesson, we mentioned that highly evolved people can focus their minds and move objects with sheer willpower. This, however, is just the tip of the iceberg. Very highly evolved people such as Billy Meyer and the Plejaren can also use meditation and the power of thoughts to observe different time periods, both past and future. Their highly advanced probability calculations can also predict the likelihood of events to come. Throughout his life, Billy has made countless prophecies and predictions. There is a notable difference between the two. A prediction describes an upcoming event that cannot be altered in any way, shape, or form, whereas a prophecy serves as a warning not to continue on the same path, or the mostly dark events foretold will become our reality. So a prophecy can be changed. Billy has stopped making predictions many years ago because terrestrial humans are unable to process such knowledge.
Wenn man den Menschen die Zukunft erzählt, dass sie Trouble bekommen, dass sie Ärger bekommen, Probleme bekommen damit, das hat sich immer und immer wieder bewiesen. Was ich selbst erfahren habe, wenn ich irgendjemandem etwas von der Zukunft erzählt habe, dann sind sie in große Probleme verfallen und haben irgendwelche verrückte Dinge gemacht. Teilweise, wie soll ich sagen, sind sie sogar verwirrt geworden.
Both Billy and the Plejaren have independently made some very sophisticated probability calculations regarding the events mentioned in this video, and concluded the occurrence of the ensuing events at a 51% probability. As overpopulation continues to grow unchecked, people's everyday lives continue to get increasingly harder and less comfortable, even if these inflating burdens are not immediately attributed to overpopulation. It is a strange irony that the ever-booming population, which also exists in Europe, has to contend with a massive reduction in public services. While public services get reduced, citizens need to pay higher fees and taxes, and in return the paperwork keeps getting increasingly complex. For example, the public bus companies, both the state and private rail and road transport connections keep getting more and more restricted. Yet, at the same time, fares are being jacked up. This phenomenon can be observed everywhere. Postal service, the medical and banking industries are but a few examples where cutbacks have become the rule, and services that should be provided for free come with a hefty price tag. Many corporate bosses, company owners and managers also command higher and higher wages, often millions, while the common employees are being harassed with savings, layoffs and cutbacks, even though they are actually doing the hard work, while the bosses are lolling lazily in their swanky armchairs and barely move a finger, bragging endlessly. In addition, there is a horrendous tax burden that pushes the working class beyond their limits, against which they are unable to defend themselves. In their blind trust in authorities and governments, people fallen victim to a belief in utter subordination to the authorities and therefore find themselves no longer able to think or act for themselves. Should the day come when the people wake up from their lethargy, then they become so degenerately meddlesome that they freak out in blind rage and scourge everything in sight and do more harm than good. Basic understanding and reason are out of control and only allow for blind hatred and boundless anger, which can no longer be stopped because the ability to form any clear thought, to gain some insight, or any cognitive ability whatsoever falls victim to a primitive brutality, dissatisfaction, and vindictiveness. So any action is controlled by a mere blind, fanatic madness. The end of the far too long ignored overpopulation problem will be realization of the world elites, and they can maintain their power only by drastically reducing overpopulation. Those so-called elites are people in power of state and capital, who are to this day and will be well into the future trapped in religious, sectarian beliefs. Their plans to curb overpopulation will by no means be any humane measures, like birth control, etc. Their merciless acts will even surpass the crimes against humanity committed by the Nazis in World War II, for they will perform a mass genocide that could not be more terrifying. The probability calculations show several ways how the vast masses of people will be eradicated. Well-established deathly diseases will be restored and enhanced with lethal agents. New, highly toxic biological components will be put into effect and their terminal effects masked as an incurable pandemic. These agents will be absorbed via inhalation, mouth, and mucosa, and subsequently penetrate the entire organism, which will inevitably cause unstoppable mass extinctions. Artificially created famine, wars, and contamination of wood and water will be tools of the demented ones who achieve their ends. Even thermonuclear wars will be considered to further reduce the vast number of people. Make no mistake, we're not talking about a few people being killed in a remote country. Stuff you see on the news for maybe 2 weeks, yet our lives continue in good fun. No, this is about eradicating billions of lives and not a single region will be spared. The survivors, however, won't have it easy either. They will lead a sad existence as enslaved puppets under the right control of vicious dictatorship.
Remember, be polite, pleasant, and peaceful. A healthy person is a happy person.
You feel this sounds exaggerated? Not believable and will not ever happen? It is but a mere conspiracy theory. 25 years ago, there were similar arguments when experts warned that modern digital communication might pave the way to complete and utter surveillance. Thanks to Edward Snowden's revelations, we now have a much better understanding just how those so-called elites control us, even though we choose to ignore this uncomfortable truth.
Thing is, you're not just following your bad guy targets, you're also following their metadata, which is basically all the phone numbers that they're in touch with. Let's say your target is a shady Iranian banker operating out of Beirut. Okay, so you're watching his stuff, but you're also watching all the people that he talks to, including, his cousin who's just some dentist living in Buffalo. And then you have to watch all of that guy's contacts. And by the time you go a third hop out from the original target, you're watching this bartender chat with her mother about Botox. Because 3 hops from anyone with, say, 40 contacts, you're looking at a list of 2.5 million people. then there's that moment when you're sitting there and the scale of it hits you. The NSA is really tracking every cell phone in the world. No matter who you are, every day of your life, you're sitting in a database just ready to be looked at. Not just terrorists or countries or corporations, but you.
As you can see, even when observing mere persons of interest, secret services spy on innocent people, record their data, their lives, habits, preferences, and intimacies down to the last detail.
So think of it as a Google search, except instead of searching only what people make public, we're also looking at everything they don't. So emails, chats, SMS, whatever.
Yeah, but which people?
The whole kingdom, Snow White.
Several years ago, this was deemed to be a mere conspiracy theory, which, unfortunately, has turned out to be our reality. A lot more candor can be seen from China and its draconian surveillance of its citizens. Every public place is being monitored with state-of-the-art facial recognition software to such an extent that it has become impossible to walk anywhere anonymously. In a pilot project, kids are being subjected to a permanent control of their brainwaves to monitor whether they are in a good or a bad mood, and if they pay attention or not. Any deviation will alert not only the teacher, but also send a text to the student's parents so they can prepare an adequate punishment. This scenario violates any human rights to a good and safe privacy, and creates an environment that couldn't be any less humane and completely devoid of freedom. So it's obvious that the foundation has been laid for the dystopian society Billy Meier predicts, with a probability of 51%. It is up to us if those warnings become a sad reality. At this time, the chances keep increasing. Billy has made countless predictions and prophecies that go far into the distant future. His warnings regarding the red meteor, aka Apophis, command special attention. On April 13th, 2029, it could impact Earth, or drift by very closely.
We have 18 days before it hits Earth.
According to initial scientific estimates, the meteor has a diameter of 270 meters. By now, these estimates have been amended to 350 meters. TAR has informed Billy back in 2008 that the actual diameter of said meteor is indeed 350 meters. He recommends humans of Earth to take measures to prevent this disaster from happening as soon as possible, for time is short. According to Plejaren advice, atomic explosions near the meteor should be considered because they are efficient and produce a strong drifting effect. However, explosions may not occur too close to the meteor to avoid breaking it up, from which an even greater danger would result. If we don't act now, there is a danger that an impact would not only trigger tectonic and climatic changes, but rip open the Earth's crust from the North Sea all the way to the Black Sea. Even if certain cosmic influences prevent the meteor from impacting on April 13th, 2029, it will return in 2036 and close ominously on Earth, possibly even impact on her. Time is running out to start preparations to prevent these events from happening. The Plejaren will not do this work for us, for it is important that humans on Earth collaborate in peace to prevent this looming catastrophe. It would be delightful if such a collaboration were to create more peace among Earth humans, so that the aforementioned dark prophecies will not come to pass. Find additional information in the description below. Subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications, like, comment, and share. See you soon when we once again reveal what school won't tell you.